Kibo was a young goat herder. He lived in a green valley. Tall mountains stood all around his home. These were not ordinary mountains. They were full of magic. The people in the valley knew this truth. They said the mountains had spirits. The echoes that bounced between the peaks were the voices of these spirits. When the wind blew, it was the mountain breathing. When the streams trickled, it was the mountain laughing. Kibo loved these mountains very much. They were his friends. He spent all his days walking with his goats on the grassy slopes. He felt safe and happy under their watchful gaze. Every day, Kibo took his small flock of goats up the hills. His goats had soft white wool and tiny bells. The bells made a gentle sound as they walked. Ting, ting, ting. Kibo loved music. He had a small wooden flute that his grandfather had made for him. But more than his flute, Kibo loved to sing. His voice was clear and strong. It rose up into the big blue sky. He sang songs about the sun. He sang songs about the fluffy clouds. He sang songs about his goats. His songs were full of joy and bounced off the mountainsides. They filled the whole valley with happiness. One morning, the sun was especially bright. Kibo felt a big song growing in his heart. It was a song he had never sung before. It was loud and full of excitement. He climbed to the highest rock he could find. He took a deep breath. He opened his mouth and let the song fly out. His voice soared higher and higher. It echoed louder than ever before. It bounced from the east peak to the west peak. It danced over the valley below. The song was a powerful shout of happiness. Kibo did not know it, but he was singing near the cave of the Echo Guardian, the oldest and most powerful spirit of the mountain. The Echo Guardian had been sleeping for 100 years. The spirit slept deep inside the heart of the mountain. The valley people knew not to make loud noises near its cave. They knew the Guardian needed its rest to keep the mountain peaceful. Kibo, in his joyful moment, had forgotten this important rule. His loud new song traveled deep into the rock. It went down, down, down into the dark, quiet cave. It woke the sleeping spirit from its long, peaceful dream. The Guardian was not happy. It had been startled from its slumber. The mountain spirit was very, very grumpy. Suddenly, the ground began to shake. A low rumble started deep within the earth. It was not like thunder. It was a sound that Kibo felt in his feet and in his bones. The goats bleated with fear. They huddled close to Kibo, their little bells silent now. The sky, once so blue and friendly, started to grow dark with clouds. The wind began to blow hard. It was not a gentle breathing wind. It was an angry wind that pushed and pulled at Kibo's clothes. The happy song died in Kibo's throat. A cold feeling of worry crept into his heart. He looked up at the great mountain, and he knew he had made a terrible mistake. The rumbling grew louder. Grumble, grumble! Small stones started to roll down the mountainside. The echoes that came back were no longer happy songs. They were angry growls. The voice of the Echo Guardian was upset. It was telling the whole valley about its displeasure. Kibo's heart beat fast like a trapped bird. He slid down from the high rock. He gathered his frightened goats. He had to get them to safety. He knew what he had done. His loud, careless song had disturbed the mountain's peace. He had woken the Echo Guardian. He felt a tear roll down his cheek. He was very sorry and very scared. When Kibo returned to the village, everyone was outside. The people looked up at the rumbling mountain with worried faces. The elder, a wise old woman with kind eyes, saw Kibo. She knew he spent his days singing on the slopes. She walked over to him. "Kibo," she said softly, her voice calm despite the shaking ground. "The Echo Guardian is awake. Its spirit is not at peace. The mountain is angry with us." Kibo looked down at his dusty shoes. He felt so small. "It was me," he whispered. "My song was too loud. I woke the Guardian." The elder did not look angry. She just looked thoughtful. The elder placed a gentle hand on Kibo's shoulder. "Fear will not help us now, little one," she said. "The Echo Guardian is not evil. It is just disturbed." A loud noise woke it, so a soft sound must soothe it back to sleep. She told Kibo a very old story. It was a story about a special melody. This melody was called the Mountain's Lullaby. It was a song that could calm any angry spirit, but the melody was lost. It was not written in any book. The story said the melody was hidden. It was carried on the whispers of the valley winds. Only someone with a listening heart could find it. Hope sparked inside Kibo's worried heart. He was scared, but he was also brave. He knew he had to fix his mistake. He had to find the lost melody. "I will find it," he told the elder with new determination. "I will listen to the wind. I will find the mountain's lullaby and bring peace back to our home." The elder smiled a small, hopeful smile. She gave him a small pouch of rice and a bottle of water for his journey. Kibo left his goats in the safe village pen. He took his wooden flute and started his quest. He walked away from the village toward the heart of the windy valley, ready to listen. Kibo walked deep into the valley. The wind whistled and swirled all around him. He closed his eyes. He tried to listen. At first, all he heard was the angry howl of the wind. It sounded like the guardian's grumbling voice. He felt discouraged. How could he find a soft lullaby in such a loud and angry sound? He walked farther, past the rustling bamboo forest. The bamboo stalks clacked against each other. Clack, clack, clack. He listened closely. Was that part of the song? No, it was too sharp. It was not a lullaby. He kept walking, his ears open to every sound the world was making. He came to a small, rushing stream. The water tumbled over smooth gray stones. It made a soft, gurgling sound. Bubble, gurgle, shush. Kibo sat by the water's edge. He put his flute to his lips and tried to play the sound of the stream. It was a gentle sound, a peaceful sound. It was close to the feeling of a lullaby, but it was not the whole melody. It was just one small piece of the puzzle. He knew he needed more. He stood up and continued his journey, following the path of the wind. The mountain continued to rumble behind him, reminding him that he did not have much time. As the sun began to set, Kibo reached a field of tall, whispering grass. The wind moved through the grass like a soft hand. It made a gentle, sweeping sound. Swoosh, swoosh. It was a sound like a mother comforting a sleepy child. Kibo stood very still. He listened to the grass. He listened to the stream in the distance. He listened to the soft rustle of leaves on the trees. Slowly, very slowly, the different sounds of nature began to connect in his mind. The gurgle of the stream, the swoosh of the grass, the sigh of the leaves, they were all notes in a single beautiful song. Kibo understood. The mountain's lullaby was not one sound. It was all the soft sounds of the valley woven together. It was the whisper of nature itself. He felt a surge of excitement and hope. He lifted his wooden flute. His fingers moved with a new confidence. He began to play. He played the gentle sound of the stream. He added the soft swoosh of the tall grass. He wove in the sound of the rustling leaves. The notes flowed from his flute, creating a melody that was as soft as moonlight and as peaceful as a sleeping baby. It was the mountain's lullaby. He turned and faced the rumbling mountain. He walked back toward the guardian's cave, playing the song. The melody floated on the wind. It was not loud like his song from the morning. It was quiet and full of love. It was a song of apology and a promise of peace. As he played, he noticed a change. The angry wind began to soften. The dark clouds started to part, letting the first evening stars peek through. The ground beneath his feet trembled less and less. The melody was working. It was calming the angry spirit. Kibo's heart filled with relief. He kept playing, putting all his hope into each note. Kibo reached the base of the mountain and stood before the dark cave. The rumbling had almost stopped completely. It was now just a low, sleepy hum. Kibo played the final notes of the lullaby. The music was soft and gentle. It promised the guardian a long and peaceful rest. When the last note faded, a deep silence fell over the valley. It was a perfect, peaceful silence. The mountain was still. The Echo Guardian was asleep once more, dreaming sweet dreams, soothed by the beautiful song. A soft, warm breeze drifted out from the cave, like a gentle sigh of thanks. Kibo walked back to his village under the starry sky. The world was quiet and safe again. The people came out to greet him, their faces full of gratitude. They had heard the beautiful melody on the wind and felt the mountain grow calm. Kibo was no longer just a goat herder. He was the boy who had listened to the wind and brought peace back to the valley. From that day on, Kibo still sang to his goats on the hills, but his songs were softer now, full of the wisdom he had learned. He knew that the greatest songs were not the loudest, but the ones that listened to the world and sang in harmony with it.